Hey guys, my name is László Márca, aka the Tinker Dad, and welcome to my home automation / home networking related channel. In today's video, I will showcase you this funny little device. If you're interested about it and want to find out what is it, what's inside, and what does it have the Home Assistant logo on it, then keep watching the video after the intro. We are here at my bench, and here we can take a quick look on the device itself. So by the first look, you can see that it is a DIY one. Yeah, I made it. I designed the enclosure. So let's pop it up and let's see what's inside. There we go. This is just a quick and dirty solution. It's just USB converters from micro USB to USB-A and a ESP32 board, which is a LOLIN ESP32 Lite, probably one of the cheapest full-featured ESP32 boards available. I think it costs like $2.50, maybe $3 on AliExpress, even cheaper if you buy in larger quantities. Okay, the next logical question, what does this device do? What is it in the first place? So this is an ESPHome based Bluetooth proxy that is usable easily with Home Assistant. A Bluetooth proxy is a device that enables you to extend the range of your Bluetooth coverage within Home Assistant. Especially useful if your host running Home Assistant does not even have Bluetooth coverage at all, like it is not a Raspberry Pi, but for example a VM. This way, you can just plug these into USB sockets around the house and have a large area covered with Bluetooth, and that way you can use, for example, those cheap BLE based thermometers to report temperatures and whatnot around the house directly to Home Assistant. As you will see in the second part of the video, setting this thing up is really easy. So this is the mentioned ESP32 module, and it is sold on AliExpress by many sellers. As I mentioned, it is really cheap, and the truth is you don't have to use exactly this module for the Bluetooth proxy. As you will see, you can install the software part on various ESP32 modules. However, I really suggest this one for multiple reasons. For example, it goes in two variants. It has a variant with a USB-C connector and another one with a micro USB connector. Also, as you can see, it has another connector which is a battery charger module. So you can actually connect the battery to it and let it charge and use this as something like an uninterruptible power supply when the normal connected power supply goes out for whatever reason. As I mentioned, the software part is quite easy, so you just go to this website, the link is in the description, and you will allow the website to connect to the device that you have connected to your PC via USB cable. So as you can see, it pops up for me as COM5. On Linux and Mac the experience might be slightly different. You should be able to detect the device normally, but if it doesn't pop up, it is possible that you have to install a driver. I will also put a link to the driver in the description, and then installation will take like a couple of minutes. During that installation, it will erase whatever firmware you have on the drive. Then it will install a build of ESPHome. Now ESPHome is a generic firmware used for multiple purposes together with Home Assistant, actually developed by the same guys who develop Home Assistant. So it should be familiar for many of my viewers, I guess. Right after the installation, you will be able to configure Wi-Fi for the module, because the Bluetooth proxy uses Wi-Fi to connect to Home Assistant, and it will actually forward the data coming through Bluetooth through Wi-Fi to Home Assistant. That's why it is called a proxy. Right now, if you have running Home Assistant installation, you can just add the device to it directly. You make sure that your Home Assistant URL is configured properly. If not, you can change it on that UI. And then, as you can see, the whole add to Home Assistant experience is quite easy. So you just select the device. Normally it has an auto-generated name. Then it will say, OK, discover the ESPHome node. Then you can assign an area. And there we go. At this point, you should see the device in Home Assistant and you can do the usual stuff, starting with renaming to something more convenient and human readable. Do you remember this picture from like 3 minutes ago? Yeah, of course you do. So this is what we are going for, and this is what we have so far, assuming that you have Home Assistant already up and running. So we have Home Assistant, we have a Bluetooth proxy, and now the question, how will we connect whatever sensors we have via Bluetooth to these proxies? So the thing is, it uses BLE. Yeah, right, I mentioned that. However, the protocol, the format of the data sent over BLE is crucial here. And the protocol we are going with is named BTHome. It's an open protocol. Let me show you some info about it on its webpage. So BTHome.io is the homepage of BTHome, and it provides you a lot of information about this protocol. The goal of the whole thing is to create a protocol that is suitable for low-power BLE devices to send their data to, for example, Home Assistant. But technically, it is much more than Home Assistant. Currently, a few projects support it, and what we need is one of those. Home Assistant have native support for BTHome, so you don't have to care about that. Once you have a couple of devices, Home Assistant will just recognize them automatically and they will show up. What we need is this project. This is custom firmware for these little thermometers. You probably heard about them or seen them or have them. They are really cool and really cheap, and they will serve as an example project for this video. If you are not interested, you can skip the next couple of minutes, but I highly suggest to view it because it will give you an idea how easy to connect these devices to Home Assistant via these new BT proxies. To flash this custom firmware to a thermometer, you don't even have to connect it to your PC. Honestly, you can't even do that. I mean, those are just sealed down nice and tight. But luckily, we can flash the firmware directly from the browser using Bluetooth. So you just click this link and it will open up this page. So directly here, you can just start connecting to the device. Just make sure Bluetooth is on and the device is in range. During installing this new firmware, I suggest you to move the device really close. Now, we just click connect. Hopefully the device will show up. There we go. I actually paired it before, but I will just do that again. Connects to the device and then it will read some of its data. For the first time, you here click this do activation button. And there we go. Now you can send the firmware to it. So you just click custom firmware and then start flashing. As you can see, it will take a couple of seconds, maybe a minute or two. Once the flashing part is done, it will just disconnect, then reboot, and then you can try to reconnect it again. You can see that the device name slightly changed, and that is because of the firmware change. So you just hit this. Once you see this configuration screen, you have to adjust a few settings. So first of all, you set the advertising type to BTHome to conform to the new protocol. Then you set the advertising interval to maximum to spare some battery life. And then the measure interval, you can increase it if you want to. I set it to 6, which will yield 60 seconds, which is like a single measurement done in every minute. Now you click send config, and in the log you can observe that a byte array is sent to the device. Now, if you have done everything correctly, then the device should be available in Home Assistant. If you don't have the BTHome integration yet, you just click Add Integration, then type BT, then you will see BTHome here, and you can see it already picked up this device. I will just click Submit, and then let's say it is in the study or whatever room. Actually, I plan to move this to the kids room, so I will just select kids room here, then click Finish, and now it appeared here. Actually, for some reason, you can see that the older previously added sensors feature 6 entities with different sensor values, while the newly added one we have just added says 1 entity. People report that this gets solved on its own after some time, so I suggest you to wait a bit. Okay, so this wait time is seemingly random. Last time I added such a sensor, I had to wait a couple of minutes. Now it took like 3 hours, which is weird to be honest, but it's okay. So I click here and you can see 6 entities, so everything is fine, and now I can just add this sensor to my Lovelace UI or whatever. Okay, so here we go. With that funny little device we have, and of course with the help of some of those Xiaomi thermometers, we have set up Bluetooth thermometers around the house, which is great. And to be honest, the whole thing went really cheap. But what else we can use this Bluetooth proxy for? Because, well, having these thermometers is nice and all, but what else? Back to the BTHome project for a second. You can see other projects are supported here. Not that many, but for me the most important is this one. Basically, this is an example project, gives you the full source code, and it will show you how to implement your own sensor, how to implement whatever you have in mind for an ESP32, so you can send the same data packets, the same sensor values, or similar, obviously, not the same, sensor values to Home Assistant via BTHome and via those Bluetooth proxies. So I guess in the future I will experiment with this code, this project a little bit. So how do you like this solution so far? I have to admit that this self-made USB dongle is probably not the smallest one, but I'm pretty sure it's the cheapest one and the reliable one. So what do you think? Do you like the idea? Do you think it's a good idea, a bad idea, or hate it altogether, or have a different solution in mind, or you have come up with your own solution already? Please let me know in the comments. Also, while you're at it, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider subscribing, assuming you like the video. And yeah, that helps me a lot, and you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Other than that, I guess it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching the video once again, and well, hope to see you next week, next time with a new one. Bye.